All right, let's get some congressional reaction to this escalation with Iran. We're joined now by Democratic Congresswoman Madeleine Dean of Pennsylvania. She is a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congresswoman, great to see you. So I'm wondering, thank you. I wonder, have the deaths of the 2 U.S. troops in Jordan and one still missing change your view on the U.S.-Iran conflict, or even, I guess, intimate where it might be going in your view?
Well, it's hard to say where it is going. On this Sunday, I just lift up the service members who have been killed. The one who is missing, please God, may he or she be found. What it shows is just we are not in an area of a memorandum of understanding. That 14-point memorandum, so poorly drafted. We are not in a ceasefire, sadly. And what looks like it's happening is a lack of an understanding by the president of exactly what his ambitions here are. We don't have clear policy. And I say this all with extraordinary respect for our men and women of the military. I happen to be in the Pacific in Hawaii, observing alongside our extraordinary servicemen and women, particularly of the Navy, but also Marines and others, RIMPAC, which is a set of exercises among 30 nations for preparedness. I cannot tell you how impressive these folks are. I cannot tell you their excellence. It is awe-inspiring. And I say that even as we were watching these exercises, learning so much about it, knowing that 2 more of our service members are dead. I think that makes the toll 16 without a clear policy, without ever having come to the American people and not coming to Congress.
Yeah, that does bring the number to 16 now, U.S. troops and service people lost in this conflict since it began in February. So what kind of impact now do you think this is also having on U.S. relations with Gulf allies, since Iran is targeting Gulf states that have and allow U.S. installations, military installations on their soil?
I've had the opportunity, along with others, Republicans and Democrats, and then most recently last week, a roundtable with just Democrats and the GCC plus Jordan, the Gulf Coalition. What I do see in them is the gravity of what is going on. This was the United States influenced by Mr. Netanyahu to go to war with Iran in an unplanned, reckless way, in an unconstitutional way. And yet these folks in the Gulf, the ambassadors in the Gulf, they want us to know that this is impacting them, very obviously. Their countries are being struck. Their people are being injured, their infrastructure being injured, people being killed. So this is not just a war with Iran. It is obviously more regional. There is opportunity in it, as the ambassadors talked to us about. There's opportunity because it's pulling them closer together and understanding that we must do this together, that there must be a joint diplomatic effort for there to be a resolution of this. But there's also an extraordinary understanding of the danger. We must never get to a larger war. We must get the president and the State Department to come together with the Gulf states to come to a resolution, a ceasefire, get the strait back opened, take a look at that memorandum of understanding. Imagine that the strait is still under the control in many ways of Iran.
President Trump is at the World Cup this afternoon, and there is a possibility that he will address cameras at some point this afternoon. What are you hoping he can or is willing to say that will help Americans get a clearer picture about what's going on and answer the questions that is on many people's minds about, whether this is going to be a long-term all-out war with Iran?
Sadly, Fredricka, I don't have hopes for the president to, with clarity, offer extraordinary sympathy to the families who have just lost their loved ones and to the family who is waiting word on their loved one. I don't have hope for the president in that way. And what you saw this week with the president's 25-minute rambling madness about elections is the president is not adequately paying attention or having a straight line policy about what we're doing here. I was reading the book, Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny, and the first two chapters are, number one, don't obey in advance. I say that to my colleagues in the House. Don't obey in advance. And number two, defend institutions. This president is doing everything he can to downgrade our institutions. His rambling madness around the election that he lost, and everyone knows it, reveals that he just wants to tear down institutions for two reasons. One, because he's a sore loser, but two, because he wants to do that again come this November. I ask my colleagues, don't obey in advance, hold this president to account, and let's demand a diplomatic resolution to this conflict.
All right, Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks so much for being with us, and safe travels there while you are in Hawaii with the many